Sup peeps, Sora here, and today I'm going to be showing the Doctor Who Blu-rays that I have. Hold on, I forgot one. Sorry, I remember I forgot one. Okay, now I have some classic ones here, separate stories, some collection box sets, and some new Who stuff. Now, this isn't everything, this is just all the Blu-rays and one 4K that I have. Because everything else I have is on DVD. But I do have the entirety of the new Who, and pretty much most of what exists of classic Doctor Who on some formats, on whether it be Blu-ray or DVD. I will show the DVDs in a separate video because those are, well, they're separate stories for each one, so I'll be talking about individual stories on those as well as yeah. So we'll start here with the solo classic stories. Now, 3 of these are second Doctor stories which are missing, that were recreated from the original audios and stills using animation. And the first one I have is The Power of Daleks. This is the first second Doctor story that is completely missing from the BBC archives in its original form, so they've recreated it using animation, using the original audio. So it is still the same story, just animated. Now you have 2 discs here. The first disc is the black and white, and the second disc is in colour. I prefer watching these in black and white because it's authentic to the experience of the original story. Also, this cover art is so cool, look at that. Next one is another animated recreation, The Faceless Ones. This cover art is kind of creepy, with Polly being turned into one of the faceless creatures there. Same thing, this is recreated in animation in black and white and in colour. It also includes the original episodes 1 and 3 that still exist, whereas the previous story had no episodes still existing in the BBC archive. This still has episodes 1 and 3 that exist, so those are on here. And there's also Telesnap reconstructions episodes 2, 4, 5, and 6. So you can watch these in an animated form or in the original form of 2 episodes and recreations of Telesnaps through the other episodes. But I prefer the animated because, you know, it's more interesting. And we have Fury of the Deep. Fury from the Deep. This is another second Doctor story that's recreated. I don't have any of the others. I will explain in a minute why. Mainly because I know eventually they're going to do these in the collection box set, so I'll have duplicates. Yeah, this one also has it says a surviving footage, so there's only like little bits that exist of this one. No full episodes because this one either. Yeah. Yes, it's here. Most of the BBC's original master recordings of Fury from the Deep were lost after the programme's original transmission, although audio-only recordings have survived and have been used here to recreate a brand new, fully animated reconstruction of Lost Classic. So they do. So all the stories still exist in audio form, just not in a story form. And I do plan on making a video of which Doctor Who stories I would love to see recreated animation, but don't exist anymore. But yeah. And the final one, this is a separate story, is Spearhead from Space. Now, this is the first. This was the first classic story to make its way over to the Blu-ray format. Now, this is also John Pertwee's first story, and this was put onto Blu-ray in 2013. So this was for the 50th anniversary. This has since been put out of print because it now exists in the format of the collection season 7, which I don't have yet. But yeah, they're pretty good, but this exists. But this is the only Doctor Who story, classic story, to be shot entirely on film as well. So yeah. But yeah, this is not out of print. So pretty cool to have that one. Now, I have some of the collection sets. Now, some of these are limited edition versions. Others are the standard versions. I will show the differences when I get to them. But we have the limited edition set of the collection season 2. This is the only William Hartnell and only black and white season of the show to currently have its collection set. The difference with the limited edition set is obviously they're bigger, and they have, as I will show you, they have a... I can get it out. They have a bigger booklet, which is stored in this like little TARDIS like box thing, and then you have the bigger booklet, which has a lot of, you know, additional information about the production of the season and everything, and then it goes into detail about each of the stories. Whereas the standard edition sets just have the episode information on the inside the sleeves. I can't get this close again now. They have also have cool artwork in here, and each story is individually disced. And so none of the stories in this season have 2 digital discs, because obviously it's got a lot of stories of the season. And I will show you what stories are in each of these seasons as we go. Okay, season 2 has Planet of Giants, which is a very strange story. The Dalek Invasion of Earth, which is one of my favourite stories. I've mentioned this way before. The Rescue, which is a decay story. The Romans, which is a historical story that actually has some comedic moments. The Web Planet, which is a story that has aged terribly effects-wise. It's literally people in bee costumes and stuff like that. The Crusade, which is the story that has 2 episodes missing that have been recreated in telesnaps in this set. So that's the only 2 episodes of the season that are missing. The Space Museum, which has that iconic scene, or most famous scene with the Doctor hiding inside the Dalek and poking his head out and laughing. The Chase, which is a decent story, and the Time Meddler, which is also a great story. So all in all, season 2 is a pretty decent season. Like I said, it's the only black and white season exists. This limited edition set no longer is available. This is only available in a standard edition set now. But yeah, it's a pretty good season. I love the artwork they use for some of these. Some of these artworks they use for these collection sets work to better effect than others. Let's just say that. Now, some more standard edition collection sets. We have the collection season 8, which is John Pertwee's 2nd season, which, spoiler, I said in my Doctor's Ranked video that he is the only Doctor who did not have a single bad season. We have, in this season, we have Terror of the Autons, which is the first story to introduce both Joe Grant and the Master. The Mind of Evil, which is set in a prison and is kind of a dark story. The Claws of Axos, which is a pretty famous story. Colony in Space, which has a very creepy looking alien thing, that thing there. And The Demons, which is one of my favourite Doctor Who stories and probably my favourite Third Doctor story, which includes that thing there. But yeah, I love the artwork for these. Yeah, that's one of my favourite seasons as well. We have the collection season 9 with this beautiful purple box art. You know me, I'm a sucker for purple. This season includes Day of the Daleks, which is a good story. The Curse of Peladon, which is a misjudged story. The Sea Devils, which is a brilliant story. The Mutants, which is one of the best stories too. And the Time Monsters is a really good story. So this, all in all, is a very good season as well. Yeah. It also has some special editions of some of the stories here. Like it says here, Day of the Daleks special edition. So some seasons will have additional... Well, I'll show you. I'll show you in here. And they also have this special artwork here. This has... Look, I'll show you. It has 2 episodes with David Daleks. We've got the special edition as well. The Curse of Peladon. The Sea Devils. Extra special edition, the Sea Devils. An omnibus edition, I believe. The Mutants. The Time Monster. And another version of the Time Monster, which has special extras. So yeah, some of these have some really good additions to them. Next, we have Doctor Who The Collection Season 10, which was the 10th anniversary season, which includes The Three Doctors, which is the first multi-Doctor story, which includes all three Doctors up until that point. So Patrick Troughton and William Hartnell from that story. Carnival of Monsters, which is a very bizarre story, which has a horrifying scene where a giant hand picks up the TARDIS. Frontier in Space, which is an okay story. Planet of the Daleks, which is an okay story. And The Green Death, which is a very it's a pro-environmental has a pro-environmentalist message behind it, and is also the final story featuring Joe Grant, and also has those giant maggot-y things. But yeah, so it's a pretty decent season, that one overall. It's a good season too. Now we have what I believe is one of the best seasons of Doctor Who in the show's entire history. Season 12. This is Tom Baker's introductory season, and I genuinely believe this is one of the best seasons of Doctor Who, period, whether it be classic or modern. When I show you the stories on this season, you'll understand why. Robot, which is his first story, which is pretty decent. Ark in Space, which is all studio-based, but is really great. The Sontaran Experiment, which is a great two-parter. Genesis of the Daleks, which is one of the most iconic and famous Doctor Who stories of all time. And Revenge of the Cybermen, which is the first appearance of Cybermen since the 60s. This season is fantastic. Every story in this season is connected, so it feels like one giant adventure. The camera doesn't seem to want to focus. And also, this is also the only season, well, one of the only seasons, where you don't ever see the TARDIS once apart from the beginning of Robot. So, yeah, that's actually pretty decent too. I'm going to pause this for a second so I can put the light on. Hang on. There we go. Okay. Now we have another great season. Season 14. Now, you can tell what stories, if you're a Doctor Who, if you're a massive Whovian like I am, you can tell what stories in this season from the cover art. We have The Mask of Mandragora, which is a great story. The Hand of Fear, Aldrad Must Live, which is Sarah Jane's final story. Deadly Assassin, which is one of the best Doctor Who stories ever, which is surprising considering it's literally just the Doctor on his own in Gallifrey. And very Matrix-y before the Matrix. The Face of Evil, which is the introduction of Leela. The Robots of Death, which is kind of a creepy story. And The Talons of Wang Chiang, which is a story of its time, let's say. It's like in Victorian London, which has like a Chinese, kind of offensive Chinese stereotype in it and stuff. But it's still a great season, a great story. Like it says here, the content was originally broadcast in 1976-77 and reflects the language and attitudes at the time. Some viewers may find this content offensive. That is for the Towns of Wang Chiang. But yeah, another brilliant, brilliant season there. And we have, like I said, there's two Tom Baker seasons that I don't have that are available in the collection line, which is 13 and 16 or 15, I believe. It's those two seasons. It's two of those seasons. The other ones I don't have of his. Like I said, there's only 3 collection seasons I don't have. And we have collection season 17, which, well, you can tell who's in this just from looking at it. This one has Destiny of Daleks, which is an okay story for what it is. City of Death, which is the most viewed story of all time, and also has a cameo from John Cleese in his actual Basil Fawlty Gub. The Creature from the Pit, which is... Unfortunately, the effects look kind of phallic by today. Nightmare of Eden, which is okay. The Horns of Nimon, which is pretty slow paced but decent still. And Shada, which is the lost story. It's an infamous lost story, which is on the set using what was already filmed of that story and then the scenes that weren't filmed have been recreated in animation with the original voice cast because they're all pretty much still alive. Okay. Now we have season 18, which is Tom Baker's final season. A lot of people don't like this season and think this is when the show started to go downhill slightly. It's very 80s. It has a brand new theme. Tom Baker has a new outfit for some reason, probably because his original was starting to look a little bit, shabby because of how long he played Doctor. He played Doctor for 7 years, keep that in mind. And this introduced a companion that I like, that a lot of people hate, Adric. But yeah, I actually like this season quite a bit. It has the Leisure Hive, which is a crazy story. The characters want focus. Meglos, which includes a cactus doctor. Not even kidding. Full Circle, which is kind of creepy. State of Decay. Full Circle also introduces Adric. State of Decay, which is about vampires. Warrior's Gate, which is a story that still to this day I have absolutely no idea what is going on in it. All I know is it has some bear-like creatures, and a lot of it is set during a completely white studio backdrop. And there's also the final story with Romana. The Keeper Traken, which introduces Nissa, and has a return of the burnt-out master from the Deadly Assassin. Logopolis, which is Tom Baker's final story. And K9 and Company, which is a special episode that aired at Christmas, which is about K9 and Sarah Jane. And next is season 19, which is Peter Davison's first season, which, again, I think is a brilliant season. It has a couple of meh stories. Cash the Valva is a trip, let's just say that. If you like MC Escher stuff, you'll love that story. For Doomsday is a snooze fest, but interestingly was the first story that was actually filmed. So Peter Davison's first story that he filmed was not his first story, which is interesting. Kinder, which introduces the Mara, which is a really good story. The Visitation, which is the Great Fire of London, where the Doctor loses his screwdriver. Black Orchid, which is a 2-part historical story, where Sarah Sutton plays double duty, playing 2 characters. Earthshock, which, well, that moment there gets Adric sent off. And Time Flight, which is... It's Time Flight. It's legitimately one of the worst Doctor Who stories of all time, and has a very offensive stereotype being played by the Master. Yeah. And also we have... I get it. I can pick it up. Doctor Who The Collection Season 20, which has this nice colourful box here. This has 3 different versions of the 3 Doctors in it, or the 5 Doctors in it. That's why it's got that many discs. It has Arc of Infinity, which is an okay story. State Dance, which is a good story that has a very, very, very young Martin Clunes in it. Mordrin Undead, which introduces Turlo. Terminus, which is Nissa's send-off. Enlightenment, which is a very bizarre story that has pirate ships with sails in space, which is, yeah, you work that out. The King's Demons, which is the Master. And the 5 Doctors, which has all... Well, it's called 5 Doctors. It should really be, like Colin Baker always refers to it, the 5-ish Doctors, because Tom Baker's really not in it. And you have a different person playing the first Doctor, because William Hartnell tragically passed away. But yeah, pretty decent season overall, but not, like, one of the best. Now we have a season which I'm going to get... It's going to be controversial what I say about it, but yeah. Season 22. I love Season 22. I think Season 22, for a start, is the closest to modern Who that classic Who ever got, because it has a very similar style and tone to modern Who, And it's the only season whose episodes are 45 minutes instead of 25 minutes. Now, it's not a perfect season, obviously, because Time Lash exists with that monstrosity up there. It's a lot more violent and darker than the seasons, but that's why I love it. Time Lash is the only story in this season I actually don't like, so there's that. It has Attack of Cybermen, which I love, and has a very disturbing scene where a guy has his hands crushed by Cybermen. Revenge on Varos, which is one of my favourite stories, which is very relevant in today's world with the whole TV violence. It's very... The plot is basically, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here, but in space, pretty much. It's pretty much that. I mean, they even elect different freaking chancellors and stuff, like they elect camp leaders and things. By the way, this season of I'm a Celebrity is kind of but I'm not going to go into that because that's not what the subject of the video is. The Mark of the Rani, which introduces the Rani, which is a pretty decent story, and also has a scene with the Doctor strapped to one of those trolley cart things going down the road, and that's like a cliffhanger. It's like, is he gonna die? Well, you'll see. The Two Doctors, which brings back Patrick Troughton and Jamie, and is about cannibalism. Yes, it's about cannibalism. Shockeye the Cannibal. Time Lash, which is awful. The Time Lash is pretty much, the effect of the Time Lash is pretty much a Christmas tree. It is. It is a Christmas tree. They've done updated effects for it, but you can still see it's a Christmas tree. It looks less like a Christmas tree, but you can still see that it is a Christmas tree. And Revelation of the Daleks, which I love that story. It's very dark in tone. Has Alexei Sayle, the DJ, in it, who did lobby at one point to be the Seventh Doctor. But lost the chance to be the Seventh Doctor when he badmouthed the companion, Bonnie Langford. But that's a story for a different day. But yeah, pretty decent season, all in all. Also, that has Davros getting his hand shot off, that story does. Also, next, we have Season 23, also known as Trial of a Time Lord. It just says Trial of a Time Lord there, but it is split into 4 different stories. The Mysterious Planet, Mind Warp, Terror of the Vervoids, and The Ultimate Foe, I believe they are called. Let me check. Yeah, The Mysterious Planet. Mind Warp, Terror of the Voids, and The Ultimate Foe. Yeah, so yeah, that is correct with 2 bonus discs. Jesus Christ, that jacket looks even worse in that picture. Why did they pick that picture? It's not... Oh yeah, that's the ship that the trial takes place on the back there. It's not the best story, but I have a lot of fond memories of this story from a kid, like I said in my Doctor's ranking video. But it's not the best season. I actually prefer the trial sections, oddly enough, than the actual stories themselves, because the stories themselves are kind of meh. Except for one that is referenced in a 13th Doctor story and in The Edge, or Reality Game. Now we have... now obviously that is the first Doctor whose run is complete, except for the one introductory story which is on season 21, which doesn't have its collection set yet. So that's both Colin Baker seasons. Now another Doctor that I have the complete run of here. The Collection, season 24, which is Sylvester McCoy's first season. As people who saw my Doctor's Ranked video know, the 7th is my favourite classic Doctor. This is, however, one of my least favourite seasons of the show. 3 of the 4 stories are 3 of the worst stories in Doctor Who history, in my opinion. You have Time in the Rani, which is a terrible start. It literally starts with Sylvester McCoy laying on the ground wearing Colin Baker's jacket, which is too huge for him because Sylvester's only short, and a blonde wig. He looks more like Leo Sayer than he does to Colin Baker. But it's because Colin infamously did not return First Regeneration story because he was fired by the BBC, and I do not blame him for not returning. Paradise Towers, which includes the cleaner demons or monsters from the Doom, those things right there. Delta the Bannerman, which is basically about a holiday camp, basically, with Ken Dodd. And Dragonfire, which introduces my favourite companion, Ace. The girl right there. If the camera will bloody focus, the girl right there. With the bomber jacket on. Introduces her. Has a horrifying scene with the guy's face melting when he looks in the sun. But yeah, not a very good season. Dragonfire is the only good story in this season. And now we have my favourite Doctor Who season of the show's history. Season 25. This is the limited edition set, which has 2 versions of every story. I love this season. I think this is the best season of the show, period, in my opinion. So, spoiler alert for the ranking video. It has Remembrance of the Daleks, my favourite Doctor Who. I love that moment with Ace with this gunshot. Has Remembrance of the Daleks, my favourite Doctor Who story ever. The Happiness Patrol, which is batshit insane, excuse my language, but I love it. And includes this guy right here, the Candyman, who is either incredibly stupid and campy looking or horrifying looking, depending on your outlook. Silver Nemesis, which is about the Cybermen, which was the 25th anniversary of Silver, and The Greatest Show in the Galaxy, which is about which is basically a psychic circus. And Ace hates circuses and clowns, so what does the Doctor do? He takes her to see the circus. Yes, because that's a great idea, Doctor. Yeah, also has one of my favourite moments with the gods of Ragnarok. Yeah, I love that story. I love everything about that season, and the cover art is awesome as well. And we have season 26, which is the final final season of the classic run. This is the limited edition set again. I unfortunately couldn't get. I wish I'd got season 24 limited so I could have all 3 limited editions of his sets. If we fight like animals, we die like animals. That's literally his speech there. It has Battlefield, which is a great story. Ghostlight, which is a very dark, creepy, atmospheric story. The Curse of Fenrir, which is a great story, and Survival, which is a great story. So this season is also a great season, in my opinion. Now that's all the classic stories out the way. Now we move on to modern Doctor Who. Now this is a special set. This is the complete series 1 to 4 and the specials. So we also have, that was the complete run of the 7th, by the way, which includes the complete first series, which is Christopher Eccleston's series, which is Rose, great introduction, The End of the World, The Unquiet Dead, Aliens of London and World War III, which is these things that fart a lot, Dalek, which is the infamous story, The Long Game, Father's Day, which is infamous, The Empty Charm, Dr. Dan Says, Are You My Mummy? Boomtown, Bad Wolf, and The Parting of the Ways, which are all pretty good stories. They're all pretty good stories. Yeah, I wish they'd done another set like this for Matt Smith and Pete Capaldi's runs together, but alas, they didn't. Which I can't get the bloody thing back in. It also has the complete second series, which is David Tennant's first series. He looks so young in that picture. This has The Christmas Invasion, New Earth, Tooth and Claw, School Reunion, The Girl in the Fireplace, Rise of Cybermen, The Age of Steel, The Idiot's Lantern, The Impossible Planet, The Satan Pit, Love and Monsters, which is terrible, Fear Her, which is terrible, Army of Ghosts, and Doomsday. Series 2 is decent, but it's not. It's got 2 terrible stories back to back as well. It has the complete third series, which I think the third series is brilliant, which is The Runaway Bride, Smith and Jones, The Shakespeare Code, Gridlock, Daleks in Manhattan, and Evolution of the Daleks, which interestingly includes a young Andrew Garfield, Lazarus Experiment, 42, Human Nature, The Family Blood, which is actually an adaptation of a 7th Doctor novelization. Blink, which introduces the Weeping Angels and is one of the best stories of Doctor Who ever. It's a Doctor Light story as well, though, which means he's not in it much. Utopia, The Sanadrums, and Last of the Time Lords, which reintroduces the Master. And it has what I believe to be one of the best series of modern Doctor Who ever. The complete 4th series. I believe this is the best modern New Who season that exists, that we have. Even though we have all New Who, which is Voyage of the Damned, Partners in Crime, The Fires of Pompeii, which interestingly has both Karen Gillan and Peter Capaldi in it. Planet of the Ood, The Sontaran Stratagem, The Poison Sky, The Doctor's Daughter, which includes David Tennant's actual wife, who is the daughter of Pete Davison, who's the 5th Doctor. Unicorn and the Wasp, which is one of my favourite lines by Catherine Tate, by Donna in the show, about when they're saying, like, murder mystery. If she was really posh, she would have said Lou. Silence in the Library, which introduces River Song, Forest of the Dead, Midnight, Turn Left, The Stolen Earth, and Journey's End, which I love as well. And it also includes the complete specials, which is The Next Doctor, who isn't actually the Next Doctor, Planet of the Dead, The Waters of Mars, and The End of Time, Parts 1 and 2. So, yeah. So there's that. That's the complete Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant runs there. Now, I do have the complete Series 5, but I have it on DVD. So, yeah. This is the complete Series 6 with my favourite Doctor, the 11th Doctor. Now, it doesn't say on the back what's on this, so I'm going to have to remember. Oh, hello, sweetie. We have The Christmas Carol, Impossible Astronaut, Day of the Moon, Curse of Black Spot, The Doctor's Wife, The Rebel Flesh, which is a horrifying story, The Almost People, The Good Man Goes to War, I love that episode, Let's Kill Hitler, Night Terrors, The Girl Who Waited, Night Terrors is also horrifying, The God Complex, Closing Time, The Wedding of River Song, and that's a cool comic book art there. Yeah, I love Series 6. Not as good as Series 5, though. I wish I had Series 5 on Blu-ray, but it's kind of hard to come by. But yeah, I have Series 6 at least. We have complete Series 7. Ultraviolet. Remember when that was a thing? Ultraviolet digital copies were a thing. I still don't understand what the ultraviolet meant. This has The Doctor, the Witch, Buddha and the Wardrobe, Asylum of Daleks, Dinosaurs on a Spaceship, which is a god-awful story, A Town Called Mercy, which I actually enjoy. It's a little bit of a throwback to the Gunfighters, which is the first Doctor story. The Power of Three, The Angels Take Manhattan, The Snowmen, The Bells of St. John, which introduces... no, The Snowmen, isn't it? That introduces Clara. It's one of... No, Clara's a weird character. Not a weird character. She got introduced in a weird way. The Rings of Akatan, Cold War, Hyde, Journey to the Center of the TARDIS, which I love, The Crimson Horror, which I love, Nightmare on Silver, I love, and The Name of the Doctor, which I love. Series 7 is a mixed bag. It's got great stories. It's also got some math ones too. We have The Day of Doctor, which also has a 3D story on it too. This is my favourite multi-Doctor story because it includes every Doctor up until that point, including Peter Capaldi, who is the next Doctor. But yeah, I love this one. Absolutely love it. Oops. The Time of the Doctor, which is Matt Smith's final story. It also has all of his other Christmas specials. But like I said, I have those on the Blu-rays over there. But yeah. I got really sad when he regenerated because he's my favorite Doctor, like I said in my ranked video. Then we have the complete 8th series, which I love this artwork. Carl looks confused on it though. I like how some of the enemies and characters and stuff are on the cogs. I actually like that. Which has, oh god, the way they've done this. Deep Breath, Into the Dalek, Robot of Sherwood. I'm a doctor. This is my spoon. Listen, which is weird. Time Heist, The Caretaker, Kill the Moon. Mummy on the Orient Express, I love that one. Flatline, In the Forest of the Night, Dark Water, and Death in Heaven. Yeah, pretty decent season. I have series 9 and 10, but again, both on DVD. Yeah. I don't know why I bought some. It's because I couldn't find them on Blu-ray at the time, so I bought them on DVD, was the thing. I have Twice Upon a Time is on 4K, which is the only Doctor Who story to be on 4K. This is Peter Capaldi's send-off. Yeah. Doesn't have his other Christmas specials on that one, oddly. And now we have another Doctor's complete run right here. The 11th series with this lenticular, I think is the word, cover art, which has this. This series is not fondly regarded, from what I recall correctly. We have The Woman Who Fell to Earth, which I like. The Ghost Monument. Rosa is an amazing episode that everybody see. Alright, it's in the UK. Hate that one. The Saranga Conundrum. Demons of the Punjab, which is another good story. Kablam, which, yeah. The Witchfinders, which is actually not that bad, which has Alan Cummings in it. It Takes You Away is a really good one as well. The Battle of Ranskor Avkolos, which is one of the worst season finales of the show ever, since New Who began. Because we always used to have like great season finales. That was just like, yeah, it was just like a standard mid-season episode. The complete 12th season, which also has the Resolution special. This has got a big ass case. And again, I'm having to keep pulling these out. This has... yeah, this is very photogenic, wasn't she? It has Resolution, yeah. Spyfall, which is a parody of Skyfall, yes, it's actually pretty decent. Introduces the Master again. Orphan 55, which is... let's just move on. Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror, which is actually pretty decent. Fugitive of the Doom is okay. Praxius, which is Can You Hear Me, which is okay. The Haunting of Villa Diodati is probably Jodie Whittaker's the best story, probably. And also is very Ghostlight like, which I love. Ascension of the Cybermen and The Timeless Children. The Timeless Children is the story that a lot of people credit for basically ruining the show going forward. But yeah, I can understand why people would think that. But yeah. You'll notice I don't have any 15th Doctor, like, on any format, because, yeah. We have the complete 13th series, also known as Flux. I actually enjoy... wow, this is falling apart. This case is falling apart. I actually enjoy this series quite a bit. I think this is the best of her series. It's not that long either. It's only 6 episodes. So it's really not that long. It's one big season-long story, which I actually really enjoy. I actually think they should have done more seasons like this, because this was as close to classic Doctor Who from a like story standpoint that we ever got. This is essentially the length of what one serial in the classic run would be. Eve of Daleks and Legend of the Sea Devils. Eve of Daleks is pretty good. Legend of the Sea Devils is infamous for all the wrong reasons, though. But yeah. And we have The Power of the Doctor, which is the 13th Doctor send-off, which also brings back Ace and Tegan, which I love about that. Also has a lot of the old Doctors helping 13 along the way. It has the 5th, 6th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. Yeah, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Helping her on the way to her regeneration. Yeah. And then we have here last the 60th anniversary specials. Good grief, that picture's creepy. Which is the... Actually, I like this cover art. I think I like this cover art quite a bit. Because it actually shows you something from all 3 specials. Yeah, I don't... These specials were kind of just... The Star Beast is actually based on a 4th Doctor comic strip. But yeah, it's a pretty okay. The giggle annoys me, though, with the bioregeneration thing. That annoys me immensely. That annoys me immensely. Yeah. That is all the Blu-rays that I have of Doctor Who. Now, I will do the DVD separate, because like I said, they're all individual stories. So, yeah. If you like what you saw, smack that like button, notification button, subscribe, and signing out. But yeah, guys, peace.